The Tuscany Trail is a 470-kilometre long self-supported bikepacking adventure on a mixture of off-road sections. Here in Tuscany, the most beautiful place you could possibly imagine to ride a bike. I tried to complete the route in just 2 days, which was a little more than I could chew, as you may have seen if you watched the video up on GCN. And if you did miss that, please check it out in the link below. But in this video, I'm going to talk you through 6 of my favourite bits of kit which helped me out on the road. I'm going to start with the bike I chose for this event. I opted for a gravel bike, my usual Canyon Grizl, and I went for 45mm Pirelli Cinturato RC tyres set up tubeless. I think for me the gravel bike was the best option because this is an event where the bike choice is really debated quite hotly. Most people do seem to go for gravel bikes, but there is a whole array of different machines taking off from the starts here on the coast in Tuscany. I think if you're looking for a more comfortable ride on some of the rougher sections, then yes, a mountain bike's the way to go. It will allow you to descend faster with a bit more control. But for me, I was still able to descend pretty fast, still quite controlled, and I felt safe. There were some sections I had to walk, few sections, but over the whole route, the gravel bike allows you to push on some of the lighter gravel sections of the faster road parts. And over the whole 475 kilometres, I still think at the end of it all, gravel bike was the way to go. And even on some of the rougher gravel sections, I still felt pretty comfortable. This is my usual setup, so I'm used to the position on it. I'm used to being able to push on when I can, and I quite enjoyed that. I quite enjoyed being able to get that speed when I was able to. So gravel bike for me, still the way to go here. Next up, the group set I used, which really, it never missed a beat. It didn't cause me any problems, and I was able to just focus on the riding and not having to worry about any sort of mechanical mishaps. So Colnago really helped me out at this event. They hooked me up with their Eka GT group set, which the whole bike is spec'd with. This is one of 2 gravel group sets which Colnago have on offer. And this one is more adventure focused. So pretty much it's designed for the sort of riding I was here doing at the Tuscany Trail. I opted for a really easy gear, which before the event I was a little bit nervous because I thought I'd maybe gone too easy, but in actual fact, I don't think you could go easy enough for this. So I've got a 36 on the front, 1048 on the back. The climbs here, they are so steep, and being able to have that easy gear when I was pretty tired and just be able to get up some of the climbs, spin my legs even when it wasn't so steep, was absolutely perfect. And I had the range too, because around 45, 50k an hour, I was still able to push on at a natural cadence. The cool thing about this group set is it is designed for a wide range of uses. So there's plenty of different cassettes and chainring options, which can all be switched on the bike if you're riding changes or progresses, or you go into different terrains. And these can be switched pretty easily too, so you can change the chainrings at the front without moving the cranks. And you can also swap out the cassettes without changing that rear derailleur, which really makes life easy if you are going different parts of the country or wherever you're riding. You can mix things up. When you're riding really long distances, it's really important, I think, to have quite a comfortable grip on the bars. And I did get on with the levers on this group set. So it's classic Colnago design, thumb shifters here on the right-hand shifter. Colnago say they've tweaked this design of the levers actually to give you a bit more comfort, and I think it did actually show out on the course, on the rougher sections and just being in the saddle all day. I think it was around 30 hours of riding on and off over the 2 days, so quite a lot of time on the bike. Wheel set as well, Colnago Zonda GT wheel set. Claimed weight 1690 grams, alloy rims, 23mm inner rim width, so you can ride with road tyres or gravel tyres. And I appreciated the alloy rims on this course because we're riding so low as well. It's quite hard actually to see some of the holes on the course, especially when you're following routes. And the white roads here in Tuscany, they're almost like, when it's really hot in the middle of the day, you can't see the shadows on the potholes, and I did whack into a few whopping big holes with a massive bang. And I thought that could have been me, either a puncture or potentially breaking a wheel, and I didn't. I was really glad of that because I did not want to miss out on the route, having to stop and fix mechanicals. So that was definitely a good point. Claimed weight of the whole group set, not including the wheels, 2,700 grams, which is only 300 grams heavier than the claimed weight of Colnago's more performance-orientated Eka group set. So whilst this is an adventure-focused option, if you are looking to get more into, gravel racing or just riding your bike as fast as possible, this is still a great option as your riding progresses. Next up, one item I definitely appreciated was my Wahoo roam. So my head unit, which I used to follow the route when I was out on the Tuscany trail. You need to do this if you're going to stay on the route properly. You could of course use a map, but in all honesty, it'd be hard. I think it would make your job a lot harder. So to have that route right there in front of you, you're able to navigate with it, just makes life easy. The best thing about this, I think for me over here, was the battery life. So day one, I think it was about 13 hours I was riding for, long day as well, I was stopped. This was on the whole time, and yet still at the end of the day, I had, I think it was about 55% battery left, which is, it's honestly pretty mental. You can of course recharge these with a battery pack as you're riding, but I think just to know you have that battery life in it, it makes life easier. You don't have to stop and faff around with battery packs, plugging them in as you're riding, and it's one less thing to think about to recharge as well, because you do have other electronics on the route, like your phone, other devices that you need to keep topped up. So it's one less thing to think about when you bed down for the night at your campsite. I also thought it was really great the connectivity that you've got with this, how I could connect it with my phone. I was getting messages on here that I could read as I was riding without having to fish around and look at my phone. I could also control my music when I was listening to a bit of music. And I even had GoPro connectivity, so I had GoPro set up on the bike and I could literally connect, start recording, disconnect, turn the GoPro off, make it sleep. It's just mad how these things have progressed in the last years. It's like having a computer on your bike in quite a tiny package. So that saved me a lot of stress out on the route. I'm going to talk about bike packing bags next and how I carried all my stuff, which is, let's face it, essential if you're going bike packing. You need to carry everything. So the bags I used are made by Sella San Marco in collaboration with Miss Grape, who are kind of like Italian bike packing gurus. They know their stuff, and I appreciated these bags. So I had 13-litre saddle bag. This one's a 5-litre kind of frame bag, a 2-litre handlebar bag, and then this top tube bag for all my snacks and some spare batteries too. Of course, I could have taken more. I could have used these fork mounts here, which I was thinking of doing, and I could have used bag straps in other places. But for me, for what I was doing here, this was actually perfect because I didn't take too much stuff. So I didn't take my stove, gas, things like that, because the route is so nice that it goes through all these spots where you can easily resupply. You can stop off, you can get coffee, you can get food. So I didn't need to carry any of that sort of stuff. So if you were going somewhere more remote, you probably would take more, you would need more bags. But for this, it was great. So I was running pretty light here, which meant I was able to ride a little bit better on some of the climbs. I wasn't quite as weighed down. The bags, they're totally waterproof too, and felt pretty bomb-proof actually. The zips especially felt really bomb-proof. That's normally kind of the area I find that these start to go when the dust gets in, start getting really hard to open. But yeah, this afforded me everything I needed. Had these pockets here to carry all my rubbish, making sure I wasn't leaving anything out on the route, took everything with me. And also the sway on this bag, I didn't really feel it. It was pretty solid, which is quite important, I think, when you're going on some of these gravel sections, you're doing some of these descents. If this is moving around a lot, it does start to be a bit distracting. It starts to put you off and you end up kind of faffing at the side of the road, tightening things up to keep it secure. And I never once had that, which really showed. And I tell you what, these kind of straps, you can pick them up. There's a few different ones you can get. These are amazing. This is the first time on a trip I've ever managed to attach my flip-flops to a bag and them not fall off once. So if you're looking to tie your shoes down, get some of these random straps. Just tighten like that. Flip-flops or anything else, they don't go anywhere. But yeah, that's my bike packing bag setup. It was a good one. Oh yeah, and another really thing that was handy was that I was able to control the lights on my bike, smart lights, from the head unit too. So when I was riding in the dark, I could quite easily use the menu, toggle the bike lights on, off, right from here, and I could also see the battery life of these, so I could manage them throughout my night riding. And I knew if I needed to top them up, or maybe if they switched themselves off, the battery would run out, so I could make sure that I was fully protected. Sleep system now, I've tried a few different options in the past. I've never quite got it right. I'm a bit of a newbie when it comes to camping out. I'm kind of learning as I go. But I think this time, I got it pretty spot on for what I was aiming for. So let's get into it. I saw this is my middle bag, my frame bag. I put some heavier items in here, and for a really small sleeping mat, which is kind of more for just your torso down to your knees. Just saves space, super tight, easy to get into your bags. And then I used a one-man tent. So these are the poles. So that's the poles. And then I had those in there, nice and flat. And then I used this tent in the back here, which is kind of more bulky, but lighter. And what I did was I took the inner out, so that's just the outer shell of the tent, the waterproof outer shell, just to save weight. Packs up super small. That is literally my tent. So it was so handy to be able to actually fit a whole tent into these bags, which is something I've always struggled with in the past. So I basically set that up, mat inside. I had a footprint, which kind of gives you some protection on the floor. That packs up like the size of your fist. I just put my sleeping bag on that, and then that was my whole sleep system with a sleeping bag stuffed in there for the Tuscany Trail. Fueling yourself and staying hydrated over such a distance, vitally important. I've got this wrong in the past, so I'm going to talk you through my approach for this one and why I think I got it just about right. So hydration-wise, I had 2 bottles on the bike. I also used a hydration vest for an extra 1.5 litres of water, so I was pretty well stocked. As well, again, on this route, so many resupply options, loads of water taps that you can use to refill your bottles and your pack. But I did want to bring kind of the biggest capacity possible when it came to this, so that I didn't have to stop too many times. So I do feel like I'm someone that once I do stop, I find it hard to get going again. I end up chatting, and I just kind of, that all adds up throughout the day. So I wanted less of that, more riding. I did use some electrolyte tabs, which I had like a pack of these in my hydration pack, and I topped that up at various points throughout the day. These are from Precision Fuel and Hydration. I went with 1,000 milligram hydration tab, so that's 1,000 milligrams of sodium to make sure I'm replacing all those salts that you're losing when you're riding in such a hot climate. And then food-wise, the only kind of sports nutrition kind of item that I took was this. So these are again Precision Fuel and Hydration. It's their 30 grams of carb chews, kind of like a chew. I don't know, I was about to describe what a chew is. Like a Haribo style thing. Like a gummy, there we go, gummy bear. But these were great because it's a nice portion of energy. I could really easily they're really compact, really dense. I keep them all in this bag. I've got, how many have I got in this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in there, and there's still plenty of space. So it's kind of like I could stuff loads of them in there. I took loads with me at the start. And I just kind of topped these up as I was riding because this is such a beautiful route. There's so many nice places to eat. And I stopped and I made the most of that. But I also wanted to keep my energy levels topped up as I was riding because I didn't want to have one big crash, end up in a restaurant, order a load of food and then just feel so stuffed and bloated that it felt quite difficult to get riding again. So I wanted to be able to stop and enjoy that food, but just have, you know, a nice portion, enjoy it, and then hit the road and still feel like I could push on the pedals and do a good pace. And these were perfect and allow me just to keep that energy going and make sure I didn't have a massive bonk, which I normally do on these challenges, and I didn't this time. I was well happy about that. There you go then, a few of the favourite bits of kit which I took with me on the Tuscany Trail. It really is an absolutely brilliant route. Full credit to the organisers for putting it all together, and to everyone that gave it a go. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. It was just brilliant. Best route, best ride I've ever been lucky enough to experience. But let me know in the comment section down below if you're taking on a bikepacking adventure, where you're going, what kit you're thinking of bringing, what setup you're thinking of going for, and we'll do our best to get back to you. If you've got any questions, please let us know. If you found this video useful though, give it a big thumbs up. Thank you for watching, and see you on the next one.